Course 2, Lesson 88, we're dealing with multiple unit multipliers. And today we're going to be looking at how to basically convert, an example would be hours to seconds, or yards to feet, or meters to kilometers, and that kind of thing. So we're going to be using something called a unit multiplier. Okay, a unit multiplier is something that we come up with to multiply in order to get a desired result. Okay, so we are going to come up with, out of the blue, a unit multiplier that makes this happen. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, if I have 1 minute, how many seconds are in 1 minute? 60 seconds. Okay, this would be a unit multiplier. Okay, let me give you another one. If I have 1 foot, how many inches are in 1 foot? There's 12. There's a unit multiplier. Let's do 1 yard. How many feet? Well, there's 3. That's a unit multiplier. So all of these can give me a desired result. I can go from one example to another. For instance, hours or minutes to seconds, feet to inches, foot to yards. So I can derive those things. All right. So let's go down to the first example. Convert 5 hours to seconds. Okay. So here's what I do. I always write 5 hours over 1 times whatever my unit multiplier is, and then what I do is I'm going to put seconds over 1, because I want to make sure I get seconds in the numerator, okay, because it has to be in the answer like that. Okay, so 5 hours over 1, seconds over 1. All right, what is my unit multiplier? How do I go from, and I'll give you a little hint, I'm going to have 2 unit multipliers here in order to get my seconds. Okay, how do I go from hours to seconds? Well, what do we usually talk about? Usually, if we talk about in hours, the next is minutes, and the next is seconds. Okay, so there's going to be 3 steps to this, or 2 steps I should say, in order to get to our desired result. So there is going to be, just like up here, a unit multiplier that we have to use, and notice that they're always in fraction form. Okay, here's another hint. I want to be able to cross off hours, so I'm going to put hours on the bottom down here so that I can cross off. Okay, if I have 1 hour, how many minutes are in 1 hour? There's 60 minutes in 1 hour. And if I want to cross off minutes, I put it down here, and I put seconds up here, and look what happens. I'm going to end up with seconds just right here. So if I have 1 minute, I have 60 seconds. So notice what I've done. I've just created a problem with unit multipliers. Here's one unit multiplier called a UM, and here's another unit multiplier to go from hours to seconds. So really what we're saying is 5 times 60 equals, and notice on the denominator it's all over 1, so we're going to come up with our answer. And if we multiplied these out, we would come out with 18,000 seconds. All right, there's our desired unit and how many seconds we have. So 5 hours, 18,000 seconds. Seems like a long time, right? Well, if you're staring at a clock, it would. If you're at a ball game or somebody's house and having a good time, it would go super fast. Okay, so relatively easy in order to do that. Let's go to example 2. All right, example 2. We've got a box here, or a room. Okay, and the room is 16 feet by 9 feet. Okay, now 16 by 9 is 144 square feet. Okay, if you did that. Now 144 square feet, but that's not how we order carpet. So the example says Diego wants to carpet a 16 by 9 foot room, which has an area of 144 feet squared. Carpet is only sold by the square yard. Okay, why? Don't know. That's how they calculate it. Okay, So we need to figure out how much carpet he has with square yards instead of square feet. So we need a unit multiplier. So what do we start with? Well, we start with our square feet. How many do we have? 144. Notice this, feet squared, okay? And that's over 1. Now, we want to get to yards squared, okay? Square yards. So we have to cancel off feet squared in order to do that, okay? How do we do that? Well, how many feet are in 1 yard? Well, we have feet down here because we need to cross these off, so we have 3 feet and 1 yard. But notice this, okay? Each of these only carry a exponent of 1. So we actually, because it's squared, we have to do that same thing twice in order to get yards squared. See yards 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. There it is. Notice this. Feet squared, there's 1, there's 2. So those all cancel off. So what am I doing? 144 divided by 1 times 3 times 3 on the bottom. That will give me yards squared. Okay, so it's all about setting up this kind of unit multiplying question. Okay, all right. So example 3, example 4, example 5 are exactly the same kinds of things. They're just using a few different measurements. So it could be miles per minute, it could be kilometers per hour, it could be gallons per minute, it could be all kinds of things. But you are coming up with these unit multipliers. Okay, the back of your textbook, you have some help back there with some unit multipliers, so you can look back in the back there. Otherwise, if you do have questions with these kinds of questions, I will be able to help you, no problem. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, like what are the conversions based on some of those things, or what are the units? How do I derive those? Okay, so with example 1 and example 2 here, it should give you the platform to be able to do these kinds of questions without any trouble. But if you do have trouble, I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, all right, that's it for today. Once if you do have any questions, you can ask me during class. No problem, I will help you.